to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype from our studios in Trinidad. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from wherever you are connecting. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the map of consciousness, and 7 stages of its growth. I had mentioned it to you that once Shiva was explaining the map of the growth of human consciousness to 7 special sages who were given the responsibility of transformation of consciousness or create the map. Bhrigu was one of them. Each one of them was given a certain responsibility. You would have heard about a movie called Jumanji. In that, there are different characters. One of them is crypto reader. He can read the 3-dimensional maps very easily. Anything which others cannot read or decipher, he picks it up. It appears into 3-dimensional shape, and he was able to read it. In his hands it becomes activated. In the same way, let's say there is a geographical map, a topographical map, a navigational map or aeronautical map. So how the wind will blow, how the storm will take shape, a map is created for it. And it is circulated, and they decipher, they interpret the map. There is a particular art. The geographical map of a place, let's say a city where you live, there is a map of that is called the road map. The important places, if you want to find out, you can find. It is for common people, it is easy to read that. Then there is a topographical map of a country. It shows the mountains, the plantation, the rivers, the lakes, and everything that is known as topographical map of a country. It is in 3 dimensions. It is made in a specific way, and there is a specific technique of understanding it, explaining this. In the same way, there is an aeronautical map. If you have to navigate your plane from the city that you are living or boarding to another city, it is a very technical map. You cannot understand it unless you are trained in that art. You cannot at all understand that. At what altitude you have to fly, directions, because the planet is moving, the directions and everything. If you are sitting in a restaurant which is revolving, and it will be difficult for you to maintain your balance and everything. So if this software is installed into your computer will interpret things according to that software. If somehow or the other you mash up that computer, but that does not mean the software is lost. You move to another, you move to another laptop, the same software will work the same way. So this was the contribution of Bhragu. So nothing can be predicted about an individual. This is a very technical, I will speak on this another time. There are, according to yoga, there are 7 stages of growth of consciousness. Consciousness manifests itself through the mind or the intellect. Your body or the ego sense develops itself in different stages. In yoga, there are 7 stages of development. Or we can say man has 7 separate or different bodies. These are like 7 valleys of Sufis. Al-Ghazali spoke of 7 valleys of Sufis, how the consciousness grows through those stages, and there are certain qualities of each stage, each valley. Indeed, these are 7 layers or stages of growth. From birth to 7 years is the first stage of development. First stage of development. During this stage, physical body grows. Physical body or sthul sharir or the outer body or the physical body. This is the first stage. This is also known as the state of 0 sex. Only the physical body develops. You want to explore your physical body. You want to touch it, feel it. All that happens. The next stage is from 7 to 14 years of age. During this is known as the second stage. During this stage, his emotional layer or emotional body or emotional mind develops. The feelings develop. During this stage, feelings develop. He starts developing the feeling for himself and for the other. Then comes the third stage, which is from 14 to 21 years of age. During this period, mental body or mental layer develops, or his intellect begins to develop. When intellect develops, he gets interested in learning. The inquisitiveness comes in an individual. He feels that he needs to know something more about himself and about the environment and things like that. In certain people, it becomes as a routine. In a specific person, this may be quite evident, and one becomes aware of these changes taking place within them. I have been explained or asked by one of the seekers who has explained this growth during different stages, what has happened, how things took place, how it was difficult for one to understand this. And it was a kind of a different story. Present day man generally knows only these three stages: the growth of the physical body, the growth of the feeling or bhavana katal, the layer of feelings or emotions, and the mental body or the intelligence. Beyond these, it is for a rare person. Present day man generally knows only these three layers of growth, or focuses on these three layers or stages alone. Man does not want to develop beyond these three layers. The body is developed, emotions or feelings are developed, and the mind or intellect is developed. What else is needed beyond these? This is the normal one. During the age of 21 to 28 is for the development of Divya Manas or divine mind. This is much vaster, much more comprehensive than the physical mind. You have the mind. Aurobindo has explained 5 stages of the mind: the physical mind, the emotional mind, the mental mind, like these. So your mind is developed, you develop the capacity to discern things, to understand things. Once you have developed, with that a software is installed in you, you can understand the things in a better way, and also you can interpret them. So Divya Manas can develop between the age of 21 to 28. It is a cosmic mind, much more advanced, much more comprehensive. You have a logical mind, so too you have another mind which is totally different. You know the logical mind, it brings the logic. This is beyond logic. You can call this as an intuitive mind. Intuitive mind. Through this mind, telepathy and telekinesis is possible. In yoga, we avoid this layer of the mind. You come to know what is going on in the mind of the others. You can pick up things from here and there and put them together. It happened. Once Lalaji, Naqshbandi Sheikh, Brajmohan Lal, Naqshbandi Sheikh Ramchandra Razi Ta'ala was doing something, writing some notes or whatever it is. So he needed a book that was somewhere else. Same time, Brajmohan Lal passed in front of the door, was open, and he looked at Lalaji walking. He went to the library or bookshelf, bring out that book and handed over to Lalaji, the book that Lalaji needed at that time. He did not say anything. He simply looked very eagerly at him and did not say anything. After he had finished, he called him by his first name and said, "What do you think? What state of awareness you want to be?" Reading the mind of someone else, you consider it as a very high stage of spiritual development. It's a blessing of the masters that you tried this, experimented this with me. I could save you from that. You did not know which direction you were heading towards. So you can know the feelings, you can know the thoughts arising in the name in that person, you can know his name, his parents' name and things like that. But for spiritual development, all these things are not necessary. So this Divya Manas or the mind develops between the age of 21 to 28. One becomes miraculous. Miracles begin to happen around such a person. Such powers come into him, around him miracles starts happening, things and information can shift from one place to another. You will come to know deeper things. In yoga, one is not allowed to reach to this state of development. Like you are working on a particular, you are an auto electrical engineer, you reach to a particular type of explanation and then you say that do not interfere with this, you will not be able to know what actually happens. Or when you are boiling the water, when the water begins to boil, or when you are working with electric current, at this stage be very cautious in handling these things. So you will come to know deeper things. In yoga, one is not allowed to reach this state of development. Indeed, this is mind, a layer of mind, yet divine or cosmic, much vast and more comprehensive mind, much larger and capable than the normal human mind that we know. This mind is of greater magnitude. Entering this layer or stage of development, you come to know much more. In comparison to others, miracle starts happening around you. You start gathering the crowd. Once this happens, next stages do not develop. The growth ceases. The fifth, sixth, and seventh layer do not develop. Those layers are the spiritual layers. Most of the people are not so mature that keeping this stage away, develop other stages. They get lost in this. They can do telepathy or telekinesis. All these come to the stage of cosmic or divine mind between 21 to 28. This development can happen very easily. Such is natural process. If you are within the energy field of an awakened one, as happened in case of Brij Mohan Lal, he was within the energy field of Lalaji, he stopped me from that state. At this age, the development is very easy. It can happen naturally. One who is on the spiritual path should never strive for this at all. You will have a higher mind. You can attain to higher mind of understanding in a different way. As such, human mind deludes. Human mind deludes, and higher the mind, the delusion will be even more. This will delude and confuse you even more than the ordinary mind. Once one is connected to the cosmic mind, he will not search for deeper spiritual realms, the fifth, sixth, and seventh layer. These are the layers or stages or chakras for development. And when I had spoken on the 112 techniques, 114 techniques of transformation, that is in relation to, those are the techniques to grow beyond the normal way. Once one is connected to cosmic mind, will not search for deeper spiritual realms. This is so miraculous, as if you have achieved God and you need nothing beyond this. Also, it creates great agony. One who enters this layer suffers severely after he attains the age of 47 or 48. So this is supposed to be avoided. It creates a great agony. One who enters this layer suffers severely after the age of 47, 48 in life. On the path of yoga or inward journey, overlooking certain stages, we strive for emptiness or shunyata and dissolution. First, you attain to the state of emptiness, and through that, when you have attained the stage of emptiness within, then the process of dissolution begins. And dissolution happens in two ways. Firstly, the drop becomes the ocean, and then the ocean becomes the drop. These things happen simultaneously. You are pouring, you have a glass of water, and in that you are pouring honey. Drop by drop, honey falls in the water, and because it is a concentrated solution, process of osmosis begins. From you can see a kind of action happening there. The drop of honey is dissolving in the water, and then as soon as the dissolution is completed, the drop of honey disappears, and then it acquires the nature of the water in the container. So these two stages are the stages of dissolution. Sufis call these as fana, when the drop merges in the ocean. The other is baka, when the ocean lends its magnanimity, it becomes oceanic. So these two stages cannot happen as long as ego is there. Ego dissolves. There is a state of shunyata. The ego sense has dissolved. So nothing happens without this. For spiritual development, the stages beyond 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, first stage of emptiness has to come, shunyata, and then process of dissolution begins. After accepting or considering spirituality, the science of inner. If spirituality, the science of inner, becomes your objective or way of life, then you are not interested in petty entertainments. The miracles that are happening around you are like entertainments. We do not seek entertainment in a spiritual path. Each small step we consider a step forward along the path that will lead us to something deeper. Each small step. The water boils in small quantas, and then there is a quantum leap. As you are moving forward, each step is a small movement, and all these steps together, put together, a distance is covered. We never run after that as mere entertainment. This is essential. So when you are walking, you are taking a step by step. That is what it is said, a step by step process of growth. In Dhyan, a slight experience makes one tremendously excited, and then within a short while comes down if there is no guidance. This happens again and again. You reach to a certain stage, you are tremendously excited, and the downfall begins. So you have to be introspective at that moment until the process, that growth that has happened, has settled in you and become the part of you. Our objective is to reach the ultimate. Like you are going to a particular place where the function is taking place, but along the way you see certain things happening, and you are moved away from that. So you lose your target and you get involved in that. It was said during the Mahabharata, the different kings, they have conformed their alliances to either of the two sides, Pandavas and Kauravas. So Pandavas brothers, they were three: Yudhishthir, Bhim, and Arjun. They were born out of Kunti, and two, Nakul and Sahadev, were born out of the second queen, Madhuri. So they were in a way step brothers. So when the alliances were being established between the different kings, so the uncle, Madhuri's brother, has decided to have the alliance with Pandava sides. He was a great warrior. Duryodhan played a trick. When he was coming to meet the Pandavas, Duryodhan created a false camp and tried to welcome that person, and he was thinking that it was Yudhishthir, the Pandavas, who have been welcoming him and created this camp for them. But that was a trick. So ultimately he has to join the Kauravas. But his heart was not with them. So it is not willingly, unwillingly, because of this welcome that he was given, accorded, he was obliged to have his alliance with Kaurav armies, but his heart was with Pandavas. So you are going along the spiritual path, you have an objective. But if I do not want you to reach there, I deviate you along the path. So this is what happens, and one has to be very careful along the spiritual path. Our objective is to reach the ultimate. When someone chooses the spiritual path, his gestures, way of walk, talk, eating, living, everything changes. Even the way he picks up something is different than the normal person. The way he looks at you, the way he performs ordinary acts is different. Everything should become spiritual, a methodological. I recall Sufi Brij Mohan Lal lived during the era where, although the Muslim influences started declining, yet still he used to go to his office putting on a trousers and a long flowing overcoat that is known as sherwani. He will have a walking stick, and when he is going for meditation, he will use a cap. Now his cap has to hang on it, but it was not that the facility were like modern day where he has a cupboard to put his things. No, there was nothing like that. On the wall there were pegs, and on one peg his walking stick has to hang, the other his cap has to hang, and so on and so forth. There is a particular way. The stick is like that. It has a kind of a that you can hold in your hand. It's not like a straight stick. So when you are hanging on a peg, you can hang it this way or you can hang it this way. So his has to be hanged this way and you cannot do the other way. The cap has two sides, the edges. I'm talking about the back to front. So there is a seam and one side of is seamless. So his cap has to hang with seamless side up on the peg. If you do otherwise, his whole rhythm is disturbed. He used to sleep. It was not like how we have a permanent, we have our bedrooms and we have a permanent bed that never moves from there. It is like that when the night falls, the portable beds are fixed for somebody to take a rest. So Each time, like my mother and my uncle, the Sufi Omkar Nath, were the responsible for preparing his bed in the night. So they will put the bed, he will sit down on the bed and say the bed is not fixed properly. He will get up, shift the bed this way or that way, and then he will sit down. He did not know anything about it, just he was guided by his consciousness, energy field. So my uncle and the mother, they used to think that he is too fussy. I do not know if he really knows what he is saying or he is just crazy. So what they did, one day when he fixed his bed, shifted the bed the way he wanted, they made a circle around the posts of the bed, the 4 posts, and leave that there. Next day, they did not put the posts of the bed in those 4 circles that were drawn around them, slightly off. He sat down, he said bed is not fixed. He shifted, got up from the bed, shifted this way or that way, and then sat down. To their utter surprise, when they looked in the morning, they found that the posts of the bed were exactly on the same circles which they had drawn. So how does this happen when somebody is on the spiritual path? Everything is very methodological. It's like a mathematical equation. You have an equation, 2 molecules of hydrogen, 1 molecule of oxygen, when interacts with one another in presence of manganese dioxide, water is formed, and the equation is 2H plus O2. There is a reversible action shown by a 2-way arrow, H2O plus O, and this reaction happens in presence of manganese dioxide. So you get water and nascent oxygen, 1 molecule. And there was another incident that shows how methodological, how sensitive, how delicate a master becomes about these things. Maulana Abdul Ghani, who was the uncle master of Lalaji and master of Brij Mohan Lal, he was to go for pilgrimage, Hajj. So on his way, he was to come to Brij Mohan Lal's house first. So he instructed that a new mattress and comforter, a set which includes the comforter, a mattress which is filled with cotton, not like a sponge, and a pillow should be made for Maulana so that he can take it with him on way to pilgrimage. So my grandmother made 2 identical, one for the sheikh and the other for her husband. And the one that was made for her husband was used by him one day. So when the Sheikh Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan was to come visit the house on way to the pilgrimage, he instructed someone to fix the bed for him and use the new set for him. So because the 2 sets were identical, and it was fixed for him, he sat on the bed, and immediately called Brij Mohan Lal. Used to call him by his first name, Brij Mohan Lal, first name. And he said, "This mattress seems to be yours." So Brij Mohan Lal responded, "No, this is not mine. This was a new set made for you." At a loud voice, he said, "Should I listen to you or the mattress? Mattress says that someone sat on this, a person with a high energy field. Go and inquire within." When they went and inquire, it was discovered that by mistake the person who fixed the bed for the sheikh, he used the mattress used by Brij Mohan Lal. How delicate is the consciousness of this person. There was another example about Shah Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan. He was a very handsome person. He used to use, the Muslims and Hindus use surma. Surma is a kind of a powder, medicated powder, that is known as, in modern terminology, we can call it eyeliner. You're sitting in that. And if anyone will come in his company with the ill thought, he will immediately say, a kind of a sound, that I am aware that somebody has come with a bad, ill thought. So our objective is to reach the ultimate. When someone chooses the spiritual path, his gestures, way of walk, talk, eating, living, everything changes. When the platter is fixed, the food is being fixed, it has to be in a particular sequence. Like when you go to a buffet table, the things are arranged in a chronological order. First thing what you need a platter. That comes in first. You don't need anything else. First you will pick up a plate, then you will not pick up the rice first. You will not pick up the naan first. You will pick up the platter, and on that you will put the vegetables, dals, gravies. When you move forward, you will put the naan and rice. Then the side dishes will be, if there is any side dish, like the yogurt, raita or something, that will be there. Then there will be salad. After that, there will be spoons and forks, napkins, water, and the dessert. This is the order. So when his plate is fixed, dal first, then the vegetable, then the salad or chutney, then, so this is here in a semicircle. Then at the base of that, there will be rice separately, not like the flat bread is put on top of the rice. No. And so it has to be put in the same order, because his life is so, his consciousness is so delicate. If something is disturbed, so his rhythm is disturbed. When I come to the studio, everything is in order. Do not disturb my desk in any way. I know how things are. It may look to you disorderly, but this disorderliness is my orderliness. I can find everything as and when I need it. There is a laptop on which Skype is connected. On the other side there is iPhone through which the live streaming happens on Facebook. Then there is iPad behind that. iPad is used for streaming via YouTube. So all these things are connected with one another. I do not have to disturb anything. Nobody should disturb that. Ritual for a person. We have to make each action and thought the process of transformation. Even the way you used to look at your life and its various aspects on a day-to-day basis undergoes change. How you used to cook your food before and how you are cooking now, how you are engaging your family relationship and how you are interacting now, everything is changed. You become a full-fledged divine entity. These are the 7 stages of the development of consciousness. I had spoken a little bit map of consciousness as explained by Bhrigu in his treatise Bhrigu Samhita. I will explain this at another time when I will go on another aspect of this development. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.